Okay, friends, we'll go ahead and begin with reciting the Namo Tassa and the three refuges for those who like to join. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. So welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So this week we are going to continue to go over the article on the five aggregates that we started to go over last week. I had written this article to be published in a magazine called Samadhi Journal. I think it will be published in September. So the five aggregates, as we've already seen, are really the main focus of the whole of the Buddha's teaching, because they're the things that the Buddha called suffering. Clinging to these five aggregates are the root cause of suffering, and why we get caught up in the web of karmic actions that keep on strengthening our ego consciousness and habit patterns that then cause the mind to be propelled into the future and future rebirths, as well as in this life, getting more and more entangled in the world, through greed, hatred, and delusion. So anyway, I'm going to go now to share this screen so that you can see it also. Hopefully we'll be able to get onto it without some difficulties. It always happens that for some reason, like I don't see it here now. Maybe this is, no? Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is where we left off last week. Last week we generally defined the five aggregates as material form, feeling, perception, volition, and consciousness. And that material form is basically any material form that you can experience through the senses, like sight, sound, smells, taste, touch sensations, are made up of the four elements of earth, fire, water, and air. And these are basically like the vibrations coming through our nervous system, and the mind feels them as something being pleasant, painful, or neutral. And then the brain, because of memory, it matches up those sensory vibrations once the baby has started learning language and identifying certain sensations as being this object or that object, like it sees its mother's face, and that form he identifies as the mother. or anybody else, or the cat, and it either likes it or dislikes it, depending on the feeling that it has learned. And the perception is the mental picture or label created whenever we experience something. Like, if your eyes are closed and you're hearing this voice, you might recognize, oh, that's Bhante Rahula's voice. But actually, it's just a vibration, sound vibration, coming into your ears. But because you've heard it before, the mind knows that this is Bhante Rahula's voice and not, Bhante G's voice, for example, or anything else.
Bhante, we
Yes.
we can't see the document.
You can't?
No.
Well, I wonder why. I don't know. See, I always have these problems. This Zoom throws me a curve every time, every week. I do it in the same way that if I change now, I may totally get lost. So you have it on your own attachment, right? You can hear me.
Sure.
Because if I go now and try to find it, I may get further lost. I don't have my tech expert with me, and so I'm afraid if I go back, I'm gonna do something. So
Bhante, Nisanka, yeah. Did you have the document open beforehand?
I did, but this computer still keeps playing games on me. I did, and then I didn't, and I had to reopen it, and then.
And you can share it. There's a share button there.
Well,
Okay, that's okay, Bhante. That's all right. Yeah.
Well, there's a share button, but I'm not sure if I do something, I don't know where I'm going to go. So it's tricky with this thing.
Okay.
Or it's my lack of, I should have the experience with it because I do this every week, but every week is something different. Anyway.
Share button don't do anything actually.
I did the share button, but it didn't come out. That's why I had to go to the other thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm just going to go explaining this, and you all have this hopefully on your attachment, and you can open it up later and listen to it. So we got down to consciousness last week, and basically consciousness is the knowing faculty, and which allows us to be alive, to know anything. And what it knows, the object of consciousness, is form, feeling, perception, and volition, and the consciousness itself. The consciousness operates through any of the 6 sense organs. So if the sound impacts the ear, then we call it hearing consciousness, but it's just consciousness originating arising through the sense organ. And if we recognize a memory or a thought in our mind, then that is the mind called mind consciousness. So there's hearing consciousness, seeing, tasting, smelling, touching, feeling, and mind consciousness. And each of those arises and vanishes before the next one arises. So consciousness isn't the conditioned ego consciousness, conditioned consciousness, has the nature of a reel of film, the old style movie rolls of film, which are made up of different frames, thousands of frames from a video, for example, and they're run fast together. Each one, you can stop a video and take out one frame of what you were doing and make a picture out of it, because each one is different. So the consciousness is acting in the same way, but we don't see the gaps in between. And so it feels like it's a solid, smooth flowing thing, and it feels like our sense of self is something that's also kind of continuous, when actually each moment of the consciousness rising and passing away, and this happens millions of times in a second, really, that fast. That's why we don't see it. We don't see its impermanence. And the sense of self arises and vanishes with each of those mind moments, but because we don't see the space between the mind moments, we think that the ego is something continuous and that we have control over it. Okay, so now we're going to read the rest of this. So consciousness is not 6 separate entities tied to respective sense organs. It's a single stream of awareness that functions through all 6 senses. And when one is stronger than the other, then it stands out. So whatever senses stand out, like right now, if your eyes are closed, then your hearing consciousness would be hearing my voice standing out. And maybe even if your eyes are open, but you want to listen, so it seems like the sound is standing out, but you might be seeing things on your screen too. The Buddha statue is there, and various things, a vase of flowers, and so on. So each of those, when you identify anything, that's a perception, and the consciousness arises, with the perception. The perception is the object of the consciousness. So we think we're seeing, but the consciousness is just the light that allows us to see. It's the perception that actually creates the mental image. So it's a little bit complex to understand, but hopefully we're going to investigate that. So the 5 aggregates arise together and vanish instantly in what is called a chittakalapa, or a mind moment. Chittakalapa is an Abhidhamma term, a mind moment. And the mind is firing off mind moments of consciousness like 1,000,000 times in a second, because it happens on almost an atomic level. So, within, just while watching me and listening to me talk right now, millions or billions of moments would have arisen and passed away but it looks like it's a continuous thing, but we don't see the rapid arising and vanishing. Okay. So these aggregates cannot be physically or mentally separated into independent parts. They arise in every experience and are blended together in a single kind of experience. Similar to this is like the spices in a soup. You cannot separate the spices on your tongue, really, but you can still detect distinct flavors there. So in the same way, in one moment, one of those, if it's a pain, a real sharp pain, that is what you're going to pay attention to over hearing it, or the perception of the other aggregates. The pain will stick out more than the perception or the volition and consciousness, but the volition will be there. The body flinching is a volitional thing, a reaction. So the Buddha described these 5 aggregates, and these similes. I want you to read this again. We can't read it now. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to learn to do this later on, but I really want you to read and reread this over, because these are really useful similes. Maybe you've read them, but you have to read them many times over to remember them, because there's just too much stuff to remember. Okay? So material shapes are like a large mass of froth floating on the water. Now, I'm sure you've all seen on a polluted lake or a river, there's white foam. It looks like white foam. Now, if a person didn't have his glasses on and they saw it, it might look like a piece of styrofoam, that appears to be solid. And so the person might say, oh, I want to get that piece of styrofoam out of the water. So they'll go over that and, try to poke a stick into it to bring it out. And then the foam just scatters because it has no solid core to it. So when a wise person examines this material form appears to be empty, unsubstantial, and without essence, because actually what it is just material vibrations. But it's because of ignorance that it appears to be solid and hard. But in the eye of wisdom, like this body, right now your body feels hard and soft, but if you were to enter into the fourth jhana, or even the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and develop mindfulness where you're feeling thousands of sensations going on, the feeling of a solid body may actually disappear. And you can have a brief momentary experience where the body feels very light without any hard edges, and it's just a mass of vibration. That is seeing with wisdom. That's called the vipassana eye, the eye of wisdom that sees this under the surface of these aggregates, to see them as just being basically energy vibrations, but it's perception that creates a solid looking object out of it. Now, this can only be understood through meditation. That's why unless you meditate, a person will argue to the death that it's unreal and it's, all this, because that's just the nature of the Dhamma. It can only be experienced through deep meditation, really. Okay, so that's material form. And the feelings are likened to be like a water bubble. Water bubbles rising up in either an aquarium, if you have a fish aquarium at home, or where you've seen a lake with fish and bubbles coming up, or scuba divers down under the surface, and you see the bubbles from the scuba tank coming up and then they burst. They look like a bubble when they first come on the surface, but then they're instantly gone. So feelings are like that. That means the pleasant, painful, and pleasant feelings that we experience when we see, hear, taste, smell, touch something. But these things also are rising and vanishing very quickly. And so when they're run together, we don't see the spaces in between the mind moments, which we don't, unless we're in a fourth jhanic, vipassana jhanic awareness. Then we think it's just a solid feeling. We can feel it kind of changing, but we're still clinging to it as being mine. But anyway, when you see it again with the eye of wisdom, they appear to be empty and substantial. Because when you gain that wisdom and the awareness, even pains start to sort of dissolve and are no longer painful. It's our mind that's identifying with them and identifying with the body and the objects that the pains seem to be real and are really painful. But that's the mind creating that. Pain is basically 50% physical and 50% mental. It takes an object to produce the pain, of course, but the mind magnifies it like a magnifying glass because of the sense of self and the not liking it and the resistance that makes this feeling appear worse than it actually is. And in meditation, when you gain samadhi, the jhanas, you can sit through pains easily. They no longer bother you because the mind is no longer paying attention to them. It has attained that, concentration on absorbed in the present moment, not thinking about the past and the future. So all these aggregates are connected with past and future experience and the memories of them, and the mind is just recreating the past into the present moment again through all these feelings and perceptions. Okay. So the perception is likened to a mirage. A mirage, the famous example of if you're in the desert and you look out, it's really hot. You might think that there's a lake or a glossy shine on the road. You think it rained or there's a water out there. And so a thirsty man would, walk fast to try to get close to that water, and he'd never get to it because it's a mirage. So perceptions are basically mental pictures that appear to be solid, but basically they're just vibrations, visible vibrations, sound vibrations, which are just electrons moving through the nervous system, essentially. Again, this is hard to understand, but a scientist could understand this. A physics person might be able to understand this, or even a neuroscientist maybe studying how the brain works. But the average person, no. And that's why people cling so much and fight so much, because they're caught in this delusions. And the mental formations are the reactions to those perceptions. The feelings and perceptions. It's the feeling and perceptions that we react to and that we think that we want, or that we think that we want to get away from. And then we take actions on them, like you raise your hand to scratch an itch, because you think that that itch is real, and you don't like it, and so you want to get rid of these. So the mental formations are which cause all the body to move too. So even these are just habits. So when the like a banana tree, so mental formations are like a banana tree trunk. Because if you start peeling all the cellulose around a banana tree, or an onion probably is a better example for us Americans who are not used to banana trees. Okay, so an onion. You just keep peeling an onion in one sheath off, and you get another one and another one, and you get down to the center of it, and basically it has no solid core. And so the same way, when we try to find a self or an owner to these mental formations, we see that they're just created by the mind. And even the sense of self is a mental formation. The sense of I is a mental formation we already talked about how the I arises in the first 6 months of a baby's life. I've given many talks about that. So it's something that's created within the mind. The sense of the consciousness is always with ego consciousness for an ignorant person, which is everybody except an arahant. So consciousness is likened to a magical illusion by a skillful magician. Like, okay, you've seen the magician's trick that pulls a rabbit out of a hat, right? But he's got the rabbit underneath his coat, and we don't see that because he's talking and distracting people. And he puts his hand into this hat, shows the hat's empty, but then he puts his hand in there and he pulls the rabbit out through the top of the hat, and it comes out. So we pull ourselves out of all of these habit formations, basically. Each time, our sense of self is like pulling a rabbit out of the hat. The rabbit is not inside the hat, really. And so our I is not inside it's just something that's created, a mirage that's pulled out of the consciousness. Anyway, again, this is difficult for the average person to understand, and that's why only in meditation can you actually begin to see that, when the mind undergoes a metamorphosis. So it's an illusion. The sense of self is an illusion, which deceives most people, appears empty, unsubstantial, and without essence. Okay, so that is how the Buddha is analogies for the five aggregates. Now there's a number of suttas by the Buddha. I wish you had your papers with you, but you don't, but I'm going to just read a couple of them and go on. And the untaught many folk, that means the average person who hasn't heard the Dhamma and hasn't meditated enough. The untaught person may be, disgusted with their body child of the elements because it's sick and causes them a lot of pain. So they might cease to fancy it and regard it as their self and wish to be rid of it. Like if it's, so old already, old people that are old and decaying, they want to die because they want to get rid of this old body. But they don't want to get rid of their mind. This what we call mind with the uninstructed person. They're not able to feel repelled by the mind even, although some people are because their minds are creating them so much suffering. They also want to take drugs or, that's why people take drugs to get out of their mind. Their mind's harassing them with guilt, worry, remorse, and fear. So they, drink or take drugs to temporarily get out of their negative mind that they're hating in their body. But one could say that disidentify the body as their self, but the mind, their consciousness, they cleave to that and mistakenly conceive, this is mine, I am this is myself. Hence, they are not detached from it. They cannot cease longing for it. It means the consciousness, the mind, but consciousness is the main element of the mind. They're not able to be freed from suffering that it brings. But he's saying it would be better for the untaught person to regard the body as the self. Because the body seems to last, maybe if you're 50, 60 years old, you see now the body's lasting, right? But your mind is changing every moment. Your desires changing, you get distracted so easily, doing one thing, hear something, get distracted, look the other way, run from this, run from that. Your mind is constantly changing, more than the body. And just under the influx of, influence of the habits and so on. So, anyway, then this other sutta, the burden. I'll teach you the lifting up of the burden. What is the burden? It's the 5 aggregates of grasping. And what is the laying hold of the burden? The taking the burden up on your back. It's the clinging to it as self. This is I, me, or mine. This is my name. I have this history, and I like all these things and dislike all these other things. This is laying hold of the burden. That means the burden that it becomes. And what is the lifting of it up? It's the craving which leads to more accumulation of kama, along with the lust and the lure that lingers now here, now there, naming the craving for the 6 senses and the other aggregates. So that's taking up the burden, like a person picking up a heavy weight, like a backpack that weighs 100 pounds, picking it up and putting on their back. That's what people are walking around with when they're clinging to these 5 aggregates as being themselves. It's a big burden. When you meditate and you gain the jhana or deep insights and vipassana meditation, when all that ceases, the burden ceases and the mind gets filled with joy and the dopamine's running in the brain and the body and you feel very happy and you forget all about that, but that's a natural type of feeling. It doesn't depend on drugs or anything else or so on. Anyway, that's the giving up, the renouncing of the 5 aggregates is the laying down of the burden. So the laying down of the burden is the attaining of the path and the fruits, overcoming the 10 fetters. And there's another sutta I like. I read all these suttas when I was first studying, and I loved them so much. They made so much sense, Suppose a dog is tied up on a leash to a strong post or pillar. If it moves toward that post or pillar. If it stands still and lays down, it sits, it does so next to that pillar. And that pillar is this, body and aggregates that they're clinging to. This is mine, my name is so-and-so, and I have a family and history, and this is, clinging to it. So and all their feelings are clinging, I believe this, I don't believe that, I like this, I don't like that. This is painful, this is beautiful, and so the mind gets is always stays close to those aggregates. Or this one is also good: a sense of a dyer or painter, a well-smoothed wooden panel or piece of cloth. A painter can reproduce the form of a woman or a man, complete in every detail. Similarly, the unformed, untrained common person brings body and sense objects into existence. It brings feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness into existence. Wow, if you could really understand that's you would reach stream entry or further. That's exactly as it is. The mind is bringing all these aggregates into existence moment by moment. Please read that, meditate on that. But of course, you have to gain concentration to do that. Okay, friends, I think we're going to stop with there. And we're going to save the rest of this for the following week, because I want to have a chance to for people to ask some questions. So I'm going to go back to the what have I done? Friends, I'm sorry. Your meeting's over. Did you catch all of that? No. Sorry, friends. Trying to get this back. I don't know. These stupid things. That's my YouTube live. Okay, hold on. Oh. I don't want to share it. I want to, come on. This technology, I don't know. What is this? Wish I had my tech person with me. I don't want to cancel that thing. Why won't this go back to Zoom? Sorry. Bear with me. I don't know what's going on here. It wants to give me the YouTube thing. I don't want the YouTube thing. Why don't this? Okay, there. Stop sharing this tick. I don't know. Okay, friends, I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's look in the chat box. Okay, we can see it. Buddha has described the 5 aggregates in this way. Okay, I already went over that. Okay, that's the document that I was reading from. So you can look at that if you want. The 5 aggregates article. Okay. Okay, I see a golden hand here. So, Dragon Yogi, do you have a question?
Yes, Bhante, gratitude, compassion, and appreciation. Humble, yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So grateful. My question had to do with detachment and in daily life and bhavana practice and sitting. Always been saying not me, not mine, not myself, impermanent, unsatisfactory, soulless, no self. and that's the noting. Is there another practice that we can use
Well,
for the
the,
detachment aspect in daily in sitting? I know we practice doing it, but it's a little more difficult for me in daily life. Like,
the noting is a kind of a training technique to
mhm,
get you to at least to intellectually understand uh, whenever your mind is getting caught on something, and starting to think about it, you can remember that,
mhm,
but at some point it becomes automatic knowledge, and you don't have to keep on noting everything.
okay,
But until that happens, like in your daily life, when things are going on, you don't have to just note everything. Uh, but especially if the mind gets caught by something, like if you see yourself, getting attached to a physical form, like another person, for example, that's
mhm,
common,
mhm,
or
mhm,
something else, then just remember, okay, what is this actual physical form? It's a visible object made out of vibrations coming from the brain and perception. And so it would help you not to have so much attachment to it. Sure, we
mhm,
have to
mhm,
use things and do things during the day, but we can see when our mind is getting, infatuated with it. So we remind ourselves, okay, back off. Like,
mhm,
especially if it's something negative, like entertaining, maybe telling a lie or, something else, or bad speech or something, and
mhm,
you catch yourself before that. And, this volitional formations, wanting to talk, it's coming from our, being attached to something,
mhm,
to want something. You tell a lie because you want something from that. You steal something because you want something from that. You use, anything we do, there's a reason. The
mhm,
self wants something from this. And so to see that and say, do I really need that? Do I really need to get all entangled and build up on that? And
mhm,
so you gradually learn to, let go of a lot of the unnecessary preoccupations and infatuations that we have with so many things, and limit yourself to the basic needs of, the life, and to lead a, just decomplicate your life, and stop wanting so many choices and so on. Learn to live more simply. That's the way the mind will gradually, the sense of self will gradually weaken around that too.
mhm.
Uh,
I'll use the mantra, live simple so everyone else can simply live.
ye- yes.
But
And,
also what I found that I'm finding out lately is about the storytelling,
mhm.
how the mind tells stories.
Oh yes, this is a great storyteller.
Uh, it's just beautiful. But
But
now I'm
but
starting to
it's
be
telling the
aware of it.
story to ourselves. It's making us
Mhm.
feel good.
Yes, yes, I'm aware of that now. But learning. Thank you, Bhante. Gratitude.
There's another chat came up in the box. Let's see what that is. Oh, okay, there's another one down here. It says, we can bring these aggregates back into existence through ignorance, craving, clinging, becoming, and birth. We can avoid this by attaining nirvana through the Four Noble Truths. Yeah, practicing the four foundations of mindfulness, which includes all of that, seven factors of enlightenment, the Noble Eightfold Path. We have a choice. To the mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy. That's when the truth dawns in the mind, you'll laugh at how stupid or ignorant you were your whole life. In fact, my first meditation course was a 1 month meditation course in Nepal. This was like 1973, like 53 years ago now almost. And during this one night, I had this realization that, it changed my life. I was listening to a Dhamma talk and I just had a mental explosion, and I can't really explain what it was, but it did something. And I wrote down in my little book, today is Thanksgiving Day, because it was actually American Thanksgiving Day. It was November something, 1973. And I wrote, today is Thanksgiving Day, the first day of the rest of my life. Today I'm reborn. It was that powerful. And I've been ignorant all my life. This was my word, because I wrote it down in a little book and read it later, what I wrote. I've been so ignorant my whole life. That's what I actually wrote in the book. So it's that kind of, an insight that has that kind of a very strong thing, and it didn't dissipate. It stayed there for a long period of time, enough where I, a year later, I still wanted to become a monk a year later, and then became a monk. But anyway, so that's how that kind of insight does work. You see the truth. It dawns on you because the truth is within your mind, but we try to, Mara creates so many smoke screens to keep us clinging to, these aggregates. Okay. Yeah, but those experiences, of course, they only are momentary, but they have the effect of destroying some of those hindrances, like the belief in a self, doubts, and things like that. But still, you still have the habits of the mind that you have to go on working on, but they become easier and easier to work with because of that sort of powerful insight that you got, basically through the practice of the Vipassana style meditation, which is basically the 4 foundations of mindfulness. These people talk about Vipassana. Just use 4 foundations of mindfulness. That's the deal. All these Vipassana techniques were taken out of the 4 foundations of mindfulness and condensed in a kind of a, focused way to make it palatable or easy to learn for beginners. But really, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, it's that. So I prefer to stop using the term Vipassana, even though I have to use it because it's a common term nowadays, but people should understand and should follow the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Okay, friends, I think that might be enough, unless there was any other golden hands raised up. I don't see any. Okay. So we'll take a few minutes break, come back to do some yoga stretches, and then try to figure some of this stuff out in our meditation, okay? Okay, we'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, try to stand straight. Relax your shoulders. Gently close your eyes. And feel the outline of the standing body. And begin some three-part breathing, slow deep breathing. After breathing in, hold the air in your lungs for 2 or 3 seconds. Get all the oxygen out of the lungs into the bloodstream and slowly breathe out. Just developing this basic mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Hold the breath. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we'll combine this breathing with these movements, repeating each movement 3 times. So on the next in-breath, raise your hands over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, stretch up, feel the sensations, release the fingers, out breath, arms back to the sides, feel the air go out. Again, in breath, use the interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, stretch up, bend back a little, feel the arch in the spine, out breath, feel the air go out, the arms come down. Once more, in, stretch up, bend back a little more, hold it a little longer. Out breath. Relax, close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Don't let the mind be carried away in thoughts. Just remind yourself of standing, standing, standing. Try to hold that outline of standing body in the mind's eye. Clothing touching the outer skin, by the sensation on or under the skin. Letting go of your thoughts. And the next in-breath, lift up on the balls of the feet while raising the arms over the head in this way. Face the hands toward each other, 5 inches apart, and stretch. Out breath, come back down. Arms to the sides, heels to the floor. So use the in-breath to help lift up the body. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Stretch. Out. Relax, close the eyes. Feel the increased sensations. Each exercise will generate different sensations. Sensations are basically just the molecular vibrations. vibrations of the atoms within those molecules. You can imagine that it'll help you keep your mind in the body. And that's basically just the earth element vibration. You can feel the vibration, the solid body disappear. Okay, next we'll do side bending. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. And keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side. Keep the arms parallel to each other like railroad tracks. In-breath, come up. And to the other side, out-breath. In. Keep alternating sides, out-breath to the left. In. Out. Once more to each side. And lower the arms. Let the air go out. Relax, close the eyes. Keep feeling the body. Feet pressing the floor, hands at the sides, clothing touching the skin. Head balanced on top. Skin stretched over the face. The eyes in the sockets. Should be able to feel at least some or all of those sensations. Just there in the present moment awareness. The outline of the body, that's a perception. If you identify the outline of the body, that's also a perception, a mental image created out of the various sensations. The brain weaves them all together. Sensations from your feet, hands, head, clothing. It's all done through memory, feeling and perception. Remember standing. But standing is also a perception. The standing position is different than the sitting position or the laying down position. This is studying the Dhamma. This is looking directly in your mind. You can do meditation even while doing this. You know how. Okay, now spread the legs apart about 3 feet. We'll do twisting from right to left. Pull the arms out to the sides. Breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. Keep your balance. In breath, come back to the front. Let your feet turn with the body, then twist to the other side with the out breath. In breath, front. Keep alternating sides, out breath to the right. In, out. Once more to each side. Come back to the front. Relax. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the arms and hands hanging at the sides, clothing touching the skin. Observe that perception of the body exactly as it is. Letting go of any thoughts going through your mind. Now hold the hands together at the chest. Breathe in, hands over the head. On the out breath, hands to the chest, bend the knees, lower down. Feel the stretch in your knees and hips. On the in breath, feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body up. Hands over the head. And out breath, come down a little further. And keep the back upright. In. Out. In. Out breath. And bring your legs back together. Standing straight with the head turning from right to left. With the in-breath, turn the head to the right. And look over your right shoulder, feel the twist in the neck. Out breath all the way back to the left. And look over the left shoulder. In-breath right. Out left. Once more to each side. On the in-breath, the head stop in the middle. Keep feeling the body. Standing, standing. Okay, we're going to do one last exercise. The backward and the forward bending. Just be careful with the back bends. Turn your palms facing outward so the little fingers touch together. On an in-breath, raise the hands up level to your eyes. Then spread the arms out to the side as you bend back on the out-breath. Look at the ceiling. Feel the arch in the spine. Carefully lift up on the in-breath. Keep the arms out at the sides. And on the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down word as you bend forward, downward. Try to keep your legs straight, let the bones in the spine stretch out. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath, raise the hands up. Out breath, bend back. In breath. Again, the downward stretch. Bend down a little more. And once more, lifting up, palms outward, in breath. Out breath, bend back. In. Third time, try to hold that downward stretch longer. Feel all those sensations in the spine, back of the leg. And bend your knees a little. On an in-breath, lifting up. Breathe in, hands together at the chest. And the out breath, hands to the sides. Close your eyes, feel the whole body. Feel that organic aliveness of the cellular vibrations due to the deep, slow breathing and the stretching. You feel as though you're standing on a vibrating machine, feeling all those vibrations from the soles of the feet up to the top of the head. Feeling the clothing touching the outer skin, sensations on or under the skin. All those sensations are basically vibration of electrons, protons, neutrons around the nucleus of the atom. Many atoms creating the molecules and the cells. Many cells creating a piece of flesh or bone, fingernail. It's the material form. We only see the outer material form as an object. We don't see what's going on under the inside the cell or under the skin or deeper in the mind. Only with the eye of concentrated awareness, you gradually begin to see that, understand that. It's the Vipassana system method, 4 foundations of mindfulness. Okay, so now let's come back to our seats, get ready for the sitting. Okay, so friends, get comfortable in the sitting posture. Try to align your back and head in a straight line. Try to find the center of gravity. Is that tipping point where the back, the body could either tip backwards or forwards. Keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Just close the eyes. Try to mentally feel that outline of the sitting body. Feel your head balanced on top. Relax your face muscles. Feel your eyes resting in the sockets. Feel the eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. From that point on the eyes, try to feel the outline of the body. Feel the hands touching together, or where they touch your legs. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Feel your buttocks pressing the seat. You feel that inward curve of the lower spine. Understand how that supports the weight of the upper body. Feel the way your knees are bent and the legs tucked underneath, where your feet press the floor. You should be able to kind of feel that basic outline of sitting body, the mind weaving all those sensations from your head, hands, feet, buttocks, clothing, weaving them into this perception that you identify as a sitting body. Then you identify this body as belonging to me. It's all created within the mind from the five aggregates. So the material form are the sensations coming through. You feel those sensations. Some are pleasant, some are painful, many are neutral. And the mind weaves them into the idea of the sitting body. Essentially, they're just vibrations. Any thoughts about it? Those are the volitional formations. The sense of yourself is essentially a volitional formation, mental formation. And in the consciousness, and you have the idea that you are the one observing this. It's also a clever illusion, like the magician's trick, putting a sense of I out of this massive sensation. If you can understand that intellectually, that's the first step. Now just tune into the breathing, try to keep that outline of the body in the mind's eye, but begin some deep, slow breathing to pump up this body with oxygen. So take a deep, slow breath, 3-part breath. Hold the air in for 2 or 3 seconds and slowly breathe out. Just take several more breaths like that, developing this mindfulness. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. And let's count the breaths from 1 to 10 to try to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing body. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath in a second. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. Feel the last bit of air go out. And the next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In 3. Out 3. In 4. Out 4. Now try to continue that on your own to 5, up to 10 by yourself. If you lose your count, start again counting at 1. On the next out breath, follow that out breath all the way down to the end. Feel the last little bit of air go out, then pause. Don't breathe in again willfully, just relax and create a longer pause. The body will breathe back in again under its own power when it needs it. Feel that next in-breath. Just continue to observe the breathing without trying to control it. Just try to tune into the 4 phases of each breath cycle. Expanding in-breath and the brief pause. The contracting out-breath and the brief pause. Just try to feel the subtler touch of the clothing rubbing against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, or chest as it expands and contracts. Feel those subtle tactile sensations of the clothing. That's the contact producing the feeling, the sensations of the material form, pleasant or neutral feelings, or the feelings aggregate. Recognize its breathing as the perceptions aggregate. Any thoughts about it, the mental formation, sense of yourself observing it as the ego consciousness. All those aggregates are all together in each moment. Even though you may not clearly see them, you try to make sense of it, even as a kind of a minor thinking about it, called an investigation of Dhamma, the Chintamaya Panya. Form, feeling, perception, volition, ego consciousness. Start to see them with each breath. You know that you're breathing in because the perception of the in-breath is different from the perception of the out-breath. The sensations are different. So the perceptions are different. Try to understand that. Be aware of any other thoughts moving in the back of your mind. All thoughts belong to the mental formations aggregate. But at the same time, be aware of any other irritating sensations, maybe unpleasant sensations like itches or pains arising as the feelings aggregate. The mind identifies them, that's the perceptions aggregate. And thoughts about it, mental formations aggregate. Sense of yourself, the consciousness. You get your mind lost in thoughts, recognize it as lost. Take a deep, slow breath, bring the mind back into the body. Back to in, sitting, out, out, sitting. knowing that your mind has been lost in the world of thinking before recognizing it, feeling the body. So you keep holding that outline of the body in the mind's eye. That's the connection, the natural connection to the awake awareness, present moment awareness. If we lose that connection with the body, then the mind just easily goes to sleep or carried away in the world of thinking. Worries, fears, all those mental formations. Connection to the physical vibrations of this body keeps us grounded in reality. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. Sensations come and go. Feelings come and go. Perceptions come and go. Mental formations come and go. Ego consciousness comes and goes. Try to identify each of those aggregates as they stand out. One stands above other ones at times. They're all there in one mind moment and vanish, rapidly followed by others. even the sense of your I, ego consciousness, like a magician pulling a rabbit out of the hat. The memories pull out an idea of a self based on past form, feeling, perception, volition, ignorance. Keeps on recreating the idea I own this body and mind. Which is ultimately the source of suffering. Sabbe sankhara anicchati. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati. Sabbe dhamma anattati. Yada panyaya pasati. Atanabindati dukhi. Esamago visuddhiya. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to briefly last and then vanish. And all these impermanent things, if clung to with ignorance, bring suffering. And they're without any ultimate owner or controller, produced through illusion. When one sees these three characteristics with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering, self-created suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. And thus spoke the Buddha. Now I invite you to chant the word sadhu 3 times slowly. Do the chanting on a long out breath. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Sadhu. place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath as you breathe in. Stretch your head back. Pull against your knees. The hands, arch the spine, look up, and let the breath out. And breathe in, lift the head up, and on the out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. To stretch the neck vertebra. Lift the chin up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends, this brings our Dhamma discussion and meditation to an end. I hope all of you are able to get some moments of insight or feel that present moment awareness, understand something about the impermanence, understand the aggregates, the interplay of the aggregates, how clinging to them brings problems and suffering. Okay, so next week we will continue our discussion going deeper into this nature of these aggregates and especially the ego illusion. Okay, so try to read that article again, several times if you can, because the more you get an intellectual understanding of that when you meditate, then you can more easily kind of focus on that and gain a deeper level of understanding. Chintamaya Panya, perhaps Bhavanamaya Panya. Okay? So during the week also, you have to practice these things in your daily life, not just in what you do in meditation only. But so practice the M&M, stop every hour for 1 minute, come back to the present moment. Let go of any negative thoughts. Okay, friends, so until next week or whenever you're tuning in, be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. Namo Buddhaya. That awareness
Namo
is
Buddhaya,
always
Bhante.
just half an inch away from your nose. Present.
Namo Buddhaya.
Buddha Saranabha, Bhante.
Sadhu, 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 Bhante, Namo Buddhaya. Thank you, Sangha. Gratitude, compassion, and appreciation. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Teresa, you must be sleepy, huh?
No, I was very fit. I woke up at myself, no clock to come to the session.
Ah, very good. Yeah, you can program your mind.
Yeah.
Even in Germany, so that means it's about 3
Now
o'clock.
it's 3.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
But, okay, friends.
Thank you very much.
See you again.
Good night.